not on welfare. And I'm down to my last dime. The Christians say that's when God wants to step in for you. Where is your faith? Oh, bless God. Tell me where is your faith in God, Lord God? Where is your faith in God? Now, before I leave you, maybe you're sick. Maybe you're going to court. Maybe your money's run out. Maybe you even have a habit and you prayed about it and it just does not seem like things are going to break for you. But I'd like to leave this with you just like the Christian told that man. Try your faith. Thank you, Jesus. Where is your faith?
You gotta be ready. Oh my God. Said you gotta be ready. Look at your neighbor, tell your neighbor. Say you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. Said you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. Said you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. When Jesus comes, you gotta be ready. When the Lord comes back, He's coming soon. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. Oh my. Oh my. If you're ready, shout. If you're ready for Jesus, shout. Come on, if you're ready for Jesus, raise your voice and shout. Behold, he comes. Riding in on the cloud, shining like the sun. How the trumpets call. Holy Land, lift your voice. This is the year of Jubilee. Out of Zion's hill, salvation. Oh God, help me. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great say, is our God. Every man, boy, and girl, raise your voice, say, how great is our God? Everybody sing, say, how great, all will see how great he is, how great, say it one more.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Mother Georgia, she's back on live, the historic 980 WDDO. All of a sudden, let's go live into the studio with our host, Brenda.
And hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
And how you doing, Emily?
I'm doing so. Had a long weekend.
Not you. You know, have you ever, I mean, seriously, you know, you like, I'm waiting for the week to come back so I can get some rest because it's just been like so exhausting. I'm just like beat down. You know, I had to go to an event this weekend in Albany State.
Mm-hmm.
So I was down in Albany.
Did my boy Hen go with you?
No, Henry didn't go because, you know, he got his schedule a little mixed up, so he didn't go. But Denver and I went, and I left home like at 5 o'clock, so I could be there at 7:30. So I was really, really tired by the time I got home. Yeah. I was so tired that I passed the exit to get off to go home.
Oh no, that's real tired because my eyes be beating on that exit, just like whoo.
In fact, I didn't even realize I had passed by. I was like, I saw Thomason Road, and I was like, okay, girl, you didn't pass by. You just totally.
You just riding at that point. You just cruising.
You know, and Henry told me, you auto driving, you robotic driving. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, that means like you just zoned out.
Yeah, I was. Our call-in number today is 478-250-1444. Again, our call-in number is 478-250-1444. Let me just tell you, Emily, hot off the press. You know, I got on my Georgia Women t-shirt. Let me stand up so y'all can see it. Well, I ain't got the t-shirt, but I got the button on.
You got the badge.
I got the badge on. Here it is. I got the badge on. And I was down at the Board of Elections, you know, because we've been a little, not necessarily political, taking sides or anything, but just been political and just empowering people to get out to vote and know your candidates and stuff like that. So the Republican Party challenged 791 votes. And 159 of them were Mercer faculty and students. And the guy,
how many were Mercer students?
159. They were either Mercer students or Mercer faculty, but they all use the same address, you know, as, you know, that's like the central headquarters for the address. Right. And the Republican Party, I don't know what they wanted. I guess they wanted them to put down like they room number, street. I don't know, I don't know what they said. Well, that was not a physical address. What that was a commercial building. And so they lodged a complaint against these are our residents. And they says, well, we really don't have a problem with them. We know that they're, they can vote. We just want them to use the right address. I'm like,
well, if that's their address, because I know when Jimmy was at Savannah State, his address was the main post office building. They had an actual post office building on the campus. So his address, anything that was mailed to him, we had to actually mail it to that physical address of that building. And then we addressed it to him, but to that specific address. So even though he lived on campus in a separate building in a dorm, the post office building was a separate building. So that was his actual mailing address for that campus. And these people should know that. I would think that they would understand.
Well, and by the way, and I would think they would have understood it, but for whatever reason, they felt like they should challenge, I guess, our voting system so that, to try to keep these people from voting. I call it disenfranchising people to vote, making it more difficult. On a personal note, I think we should make voting easier for people who choose to vote. It shouldn't be this exercise and it being so difficult. It should be easy, and it's not per se. So they had 150, 9 people that, for Mercer and such. Then there was like 48 or something like that who had these P.O. boxes or something of that nature. And then there was like 500 and something that people who they challenged him as whether or not they were being, they were inactive or active or whatever like that. And of course, all of them got threw out. It was just a waste of taxpayers' money. All 791 people that the Republican Party challenged was thrown out.
So do they notify those people of the ballots that they throw out? Do they notify them?
Well, when I said they were thrown out, I mean the challenge that they had against them to prevent them from voting was thrown out. The Board of Elections said no. There is a 90-day window that you just can't mess with people when it's time to vote. And they were within that 90-day window of having an actual election, because I've forgotten the actual date they filed it. But, we've got an election coming up on May 21st. So early voting has started, by the way. So you can either go, there are several different locations, but I know one of them is over the Lang Lucas Center over in East Macon. And then you've got the one at the new mall. If you're a person who have problems like walking and, you may be a little, the heat may bother you, or just because it's about 300 feet to get from the car to the voting place, in the new mall, which is very, very nice, by the way. It's a closer walk if you go to the Lang Lucas Center over in East Macon, because you don't have that far to walk, to get out your car and go in and do your early voting. So I encourage you, if you have a health issue or, just don't feel like walking, just encourage you to go to Lang Lucas Center and cast your vote. It's so important for you to vote. I'm not going to tell you, sit up and say, well, you need to vote for this one, you need to vote for that one. But, that's something that we have to, we really need to do. And I just encourage you to get out and vote for your candidates and such, because, everybody's friend now, Emily, because they trying to, that's just so funny.
I mean, you're right. Everybody is everybody's friend right now. And you seeing the politicians making rounds. Everybody's, shaking hands, kissing old ladies, and picking up and hugging babies.
I ain't kidding.
And, taking pictures with everybody. And you don't see them again until it's election time.
And then, now I would have to say that there have been some politicians in our area that when I, reach out to them for like an issue, they always respond, Is that my phone?
No, that's mine, and I'm cutting it off now.
Oh, no. I thought maybe, somebody was trying to call me because, I think I'm important. I do think I'm important. So, but ain't nothing else cooking around here. I sent you a little thing about, I'm starting to do TikTok a little bit more. I'm TikToking.
Noticing they're popping up every once in a blue moon. When I go on TikTok, your videos are always the ones that pop up first. I'll be like, look at old Brand.
I'm trying to build up my content as the witty mediator. For those that are out there, I call myself the witty mediator because I think I'm pretty funny, and I'm always managing the conflict. And I thought, really, Emily, I'm having conflict in my house. You hear me? I'm having conflict in my house simply because it's coming up for graduation time. I'm the step parent.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I'm always the villain because I'm the step parent. And if you're a step parent and you the villain, hit us up on the call-in number, that 478-250-1444. Emily, this is that chair talk when you be sitting out there putting on our eyelashes and stuff like that. And I be trying to talk, but I can't talk because if I do, I mess up my makeup. That's that chair talk that you be doing.
Well, what? So tell us about your experience. What are you actually experiencing right now, being a step parent? Because I know the I guess you would call it the custodial parent. Always expects the step parents or the non-custodial parent to come through. I need you to pay for this. I need you to pay for that. He needs this. He needs that. Or she needs this. Or she needs that. So what are you experiencing right now?
What I'm experiencing is the issue of invitations and attending events, because mama can't stay in my gut. She hates me. So, and I really hadn't done anything to her other than just be myself. And, that fourth white girl that I am, she can't stand me. So anything that went wrong in her life, she blames me. I'm the problem. I'm the problem why his daddy don't have a relationship. It's always is me. I'm it. I'm the one. So it's coming up graduation, right? And this should be a joyous time. You're getting ready to have a graduation with Jimmy. And so you're planning all these wonderful events, but you don't have a problem with co-parenting with his father. So it's not even an issue for you because you're able to pick up the phone and call her or him and say, hey, I'm going to do this event. And, I really like for you to come. And what is their response to you?
They'll be there. They answered back immediately. It was less than 60 seconds. They answered back, said, yeah, we'll be there. And, I don't have those issues.
And I'm telling you that so many of our listeners, and if you're experiencing this, please hit us in the comment section or give us a call. I'm telling you that it's a terrible thing. And typically, and I'm not saying all the time, it is with the women who are mad with the stepmama. Well, it could be the other way around too. It could be the other dad, but I'm just talking about in my case, you really don't want me there. And by the way, and I really don't want to even be there because I don't want to have to look at your face.
So what? That's a tough one.
It is a tough one. And I'm putting it out there because, I think it's best to always be transparent when you're talking about things, because to let people know that all of us are having similar experiences, and it's coming up for graduation, and it is a lot of stress on folk, and it shouldn't be a lot of stress on people. This should be a time to celebrate, enjoy life. This child is going on, is becoming a man or a woman. They're going to be going to college or making some sort of career decision. And the parents can't even sit in the same facility, can't even sit in the same room and share a meal together. And where do you take that? And where is that child involved in that? Where is it? Somewhere in the middle. It's sad. It's sad, sad, sad.
And at this point, what does it even matter? It's always strange to me. I'm like, you say you're there for the children, or you want to have the child's best interest at heart, or et cetera, but the adults can't step out of the way temporarily so that the child can have the best experience possible. And I think, to me, that's the sad thing. And even in our situation, my situation, I'll have my son's father and his wife will be coming down from Virginia. And it wasn't even a nod or a discussion. It was like, this is the day, this is the location, this is the time. Can you guys come? The answer was absolutely, count us both in. We're both RSVPing, we'll be there. Not an issue. I couldn't imagine not being able to sit in a room with him and the wife. And me and the wife have never had an issue. And I'm no threat to her and she's no threat to me. And it's just odd, and I'm grateful and I'm blessed that I don't have to have that as an experience. I've dealt with it before with his father's previous wife or fiance, whatever she was, and she tried her best to put a wedge in between us, and I just simply told her, listen, I don't know you and you don't know me. You were literally, was that 4 or 5 states away? Like, the fact that you're going back and forth with someone that you've never met, that doesn't bother you. And, of course, you said I was on my high horse, et cetera, et cetera. I said, but I'm not on a high horse. Listen to what I'm saying. You don't know me and I don't know you. Right. How can you possibly form an opinion about somebody that you don't even know? So you're basing your opinion on what he may have told you. But again, I had to explain to her, we have not been together since we were 18 years old.
You know what? And that's was like baffling to me. I mean, my husband has been divorced from his ex since 2017. You ought to be over it. Mm-hmm. Right. I had nothing to do with you getting a divorce. Absolutely nothing to do with it. Right. But however, I'm still, I'm held responsible. And then what it does, it creates an adversarial environment when you should be trying to celebrate and have fun. We can't even celebrate, Emily.
Right.
This should be, you know what? If we had a relationship, the same thing you're doing for Jimmy, having a big dinner, having everybody over, sitting around just, I don't know what all, you're having, but I know it's going to be really wonderful. But having people surrounding him and undergirding him with love and support, that's what it's all about. And this child won't get that simply because, you've got, this ignorance. If your emotions, if you're listening to me, you probably, look, I ain't gonna get no whole lot of yeses on this one, but if your emotions is in the way and preventing your child from having a relationship with their other parent, then, I would suggest you need to check yourself.
Yeah.
You need to really look in the mirror and say, are my actions going to help him become a better person? Because believe me, these kids mirror what they see. I don't care how old they are. They still take a look at you and they look at you as being an example. Who wants that mess in their life?
Right. I always say in our community, we have a stigma when it comes to counseling. I don't really know why African Americans don't want to go to counseling, don't want to do the counseling, but there are so many different types of counseling, and there is counseling that you can seek out that will help you either co-parent or help you in situations similar to what you're going through right now, Brenda. And at the end of the day, you hit it dead on a nail. It is absolutely someone else's emotions tied up in a situation that essentially has nothing to do with either of you. It has nothing to do with Henry, you, or the mother. It's about the child. And so how we allow our emotions to get caught up in something that has nothing to do with us, it's really interesting. That's why I always, hey, Steve. That's why I'm always saying, seeking out counseling. Because counseling not only helps the entire situation, but it helps you to understand why you behave the way that you do and what's behind the behavior.
You better, and it is always, what's the root? And to me, if you loved your husband, you shouldn't have divorced him. You shouldn't have left him, because anytime you get a divorce and leave your spouse, maybe, regardless of the sex, the gender, then the door is open for them to be with someone else. And typically they're going to be with someone else. And that someone else may be like, they may call them mom or dad or whatever like that. And to me, you need to get over it. You really, really need to get over it. So that is, I was like, I really kind of wanted to touch on that because, I don't know, Emily, it just get on my nerves. Emily, I was out this weekend. Okay. And I want you to hear this, because this was really, do you know I was out at a function and this lady came up to me, and I promise y'all, listen, listeners, listen. I'm going to put it out here right now. If I wasn't in my God mind, I would have popped her right now. Okay. Because she was asking for some stuff and I didn't give it to her, Emily. I didn't give her what she asked for. Oh, you don't know nothing about this. This right here new. This new tea. This new tea right here. You ain't heard. You ain't heard this tea. I'm putting it out here. I decided that, the way that we deal on this show, we are transparent on this show. That's what we talk about. We talk about life situations. We talk about conflicts. We talk about people who's supposed to know God and religion. And we just talk about it all. There is nothing off limits with us. So I was out and, I'm not the first, person that Henry has married. He's had multiple marriages and stuff like that. But, I'm the last and I'm the best and all that. And I really am, I am the best. All right. And this woman said, I said, hi. And this other lady was with me, said, well, this is, Henry's wife. Henry is from Albany. Do you know that woman asked me, which wife are you? To my face. To my face, Emily. To my face. I was like, I was supposed to have hit her. And if I didn't hit her, I was supposed to have just really went in like fleeing on her.
I mean, it was an honest question.
How was it an honest question?
Hey, Sheila.
Hey, Sheila. Sheila, what would you have done if somebody had walked up to you and you don't know him, Emily? You know that ain't no honest question.
Oh. I mean, yes, it is. It's an honest question. Which one are you?
Hey, Leon, how you doing?
You can't be hitting nobody.
Thank you.
Leon, she asked me which wife I was.
That's not a reason.
I don't care. I don't care if she asked you who the Pope was. You can't be putting your hand on nobody.
Well, I didn't put my hands on her. I didn't cuss her out of nothing. I'm just saying, she didn't have to come for me like that. Now, Leon, she didn't have to come for me like that.
Aggravated assault is a serious charge.
Right.
Your face plastered all over social media, and you know you don't have no makeup on.
No, I didn't have any makeup on. But no, I did. I was really cute, and I had on a nice pantsuit and stuff. I was real professional like and stuff like that.
You ain't gonna be cute when they take that mug shot.
You know what though, Leon? Don't you think that people need to stop saying any and everything to folk face? So
they don't care. They don't care. Look at me, prime example. Excuse me. Every time somebody calls me fat, I get paranoid. Yeah, I get paranoid. I'm like, I'm not that same little boy that drove an Almost 30-some years ago. Okay? As you get older, your metabolism mess up anyway. Okay? Right. I'm on the treadmill Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I've been on the treadmill since 2018. Okay? Monday, Wednesday, Friday is out to God's office. I eat right, but somebody says, oh, you gained a few pounds. People say anything. I have never in my life called anybody fat, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what kind of medication they're on.
That's what I'm talking about, but that's the gist of the conversation that I was going. People say anything to you, and then when you say something back now.
Yeah, I'm experiencing that right now, literally right now as we speak. If people think they can say whatever they want to say to you, and when you respond, it's almost like they're not ready for the response. It's something I teach my son. like Leon Jones said, you can't put your hands on nobody. But I told him, whenever you speak to someone, whenever you ask them questions, you have to be ready for whatever response they're going to give you.
That's right.
Whether it's a positive response or a negative response, when you open yourself up and come at somebody in a way that they may even deem inappropriate, you just have to be ready for the response that you get, and you can't act
exactly. Exactly.
And that,
okay, remember, don't keep your hands to yourself, okay?
All right. Thank you, Leon.
All right. Aggravated assault, it's a bad case, all right?
All right. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, 745-1966. That's our state bonding company, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you, Leon. But you know what, though? That is where I was going with it, as far as, you know, just kind of doing an introduction to it. Emily, I am amazed. And it goes with, you know, it kind of like I said, segue in from, you know, step parents and co-parenting and stuff like that. People say and do whatever, say all of this mess. I'll, you know, when I struggle with my weight, because I still do, I struggle with my weight. And I haven't always been a large person, but over the years, as Leon said, you know, I gained the weight simply because, one, I had hormonal issues, and two, because I'm an emotional eater. So I eat whenever I get nervous. I'm not even hungry. I just eat. And I will also drink wine when I'm upset. And that's nothing but sugar. And you put on weight. Well, you know, somebody walk up to you, girl, you done put on a little weight. Now, I know my clothes don't fit. You know what I'm saying? I know what's going on with my body because I'm dealing with the aftermath of it. You know what I mean?
And you know what? I'm with Leon. I have never called somebody fat today, at least today.
I don't.
And, you know, even my instance, I didn't know. I had been going to, I'd hired a personal trainer, been going to the personal trainer for about 14 months. Got on the scale when it was time for my yearly checkup. I had only lost 1 pound, literally 1 pound. And I was going to this personal trainer 4 days a week. I had food journals and everything. And I kept telling my doctor, I said, you know, I think something is wrong. Something is wrong. I can't lose the weight. I'm not gaining, but I'm also not losing.
Right.
And I'm doing what I would consider all the right things. Come to find out, I had an issue with my thyroid. And I said, well, you know, of course I didn't know. I said, but thyroidism runs in my family and the women in my family. Right. For those of you that don't know, most women of a certain age would understand this. Your thyroid controls your hormones, which controls your weight gain, which has a huge impact on your weight. And I didn't know that until, you know, they ran several tests. And so after that, you know, she finally said, you know, this all makes sense. Because I said, there's no reason why I shouldn't be losing weight, because I'm not gaining, but I'm also not losing. And I've been the same size for easily 10 years. The same exact size. I haven't gained or lost.
Right.
And, you know, paying all of that money to go to a personal trainer. I was paying good money, you know, to go to a personal trainer and doing everything I was doing. So the moral of the story is you shouldn't call a person fat because you really don't know what they're going through. Now, there's a difference between somebody being fat and morbidly obese. And you know, we know the difference. And but I think that we have to be very careful, because you do not know what people are going through.
You don't, but then too, just like that lady came up to me and said that nonsense to me about Henry. She don't know, you know, like our history. I mean, you know, for her to come up and say something like that. And then, by the way, she says, oh, I saw some pictures of you. So she knew exactly what it was she was doing. And I'm like, folk just keep running their mouth. And just saying things, and I'm grown. And so I say I'm grown because a lot of things I just don't really care about, you know, it just really don't bother me, you know, as much, you know, whatever like that. That's why I didn't doubt her eye, Leon, is because, you know, it was just pure tea foolishness. But now when he brought up the thing about weight, when I was struggling with my weight, people used to say, oh, wow, you know, you put on weight. Like I didn't know that I put on weight.
Right. Like yes, I don't need you to tell me I don't put on weight, ma'am. I know it's me.
You know, and it's so hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
And then, some of the other, people say some real hurtful things to you and think they can just say any and everything to you and about you, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, at this stage in the game and where we are in life, and Emily, you're such a young person. You see, and us old school people supposed to be dying. I mean, really and truly, I'm just saying, in my days before I really found God and stuff like that, I really would have cussed her out real bad.
Well, I'm proud of you. And I say God ain't through with me yet. Now I probably wouldn't have cussed her out. People say I'm nice, nasty. So I have a way of eating you up without even having to curse.
I was gonna get her, but I felt like it wasn't even worth it didn't even merit that, simply because anybody that will walk up to you and say the kind of thing that she said, obviously there's some issues there. And I was like, I didn't even want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I was just like, leave it alone. I don't know if she was trying to bait me to have a conversation. You don't ever know where people are coming from.
Yeah, if they're trying to pull something out of you. And let me tell you about this experience I had. We were at I was with my mom, and it was me, my mom, and a friend of ours. And the girl she's maybe a few years older than me, but she considers my mom her mom, and my mom considers her like a second daughter, another daughter, whatever. So anyway, we're out at this fish restaurant, and my mom loves fish, and so does the other girl. So I tagged along. So this lady, she had to be, I would give her between 85, 85-ish, really, really old black lady. And we're standing in line, and the lady says, is this, she says to my mom, are these your daughters? And she said, yeah, they are. She was like, oh, they're so beautiful. And so me and the other young lady said, well, thank you so much. She said, she points to me, she said, that must be the baby, huh? And my mom said, yeah, how did you know? She said, I can tell. She spoiled. You fed that one too much.
No.
Yeah.
No.
She literally pointed to
You're
me.
You're kidding me.
Said,
You have got to be kidding me. Emily, what did you do? What did you do?
And I just looked, and I had to stop myself because, first of all, my mom always taught me to respect my elders. And I just looked at her and I said, who hurt you? And she was like, I'm sorry, baby. I said, no worries, ma'am. I said, she fed me just like she fed the others. But thanks for asking. And I left it at that because, I say the lower vibrational part of me wanted to light in on her.
And
but I didn't.
Even though she was old.
Right. And that was actually the reason why I didn't, because I said, I don't know why we give old people a pass to say whatever they want to say. It's not okay. Hey, you in that category.
No.
Yeah, you in that category.
Oh, so you're going to segue to that old people can't say what they want to say. So you're going to talk about that.
Yeah. And listen, let me say this. I was raised by a baby boomer. So I allow my elders to say whatever they want to say, simply because that was the way I was raised. Now, is it okay and is it appropriate? Absolutely not. Was it okay for that woman to literally, basically, and blatantly call me fat? No, that's not okay. I don't know you from a can of paint. You don't know what I have going on or, anything about me. But to tell my mom she must be the baby, I can tell you fed that one too much.
Well, that is pretty funny.
I mean, it was
hurtful.
Funny.
It's hurtful, though.
No, but it was funny at first. I laughed at first, because it was funny. But at the same time, I'm like.
But you know what, though? But that's true, though, because my mom, I'll go see my mom at the nursing home, and she'll say stuff like, she said, but it's my mama. I didn't say anything. She said, yeah, turn around. And I said, oh, okay. You're getting a little bald head back there. She didn't, because my hair is thin in the back. And I was like, now, why would she say that I'm getting a little bald head? Now, you know how sensitive women, especially women, are about losing. And I'm not bald headed or anything like that, but she was, she was just, I was just like unamazed. So,
and the thing is when people say that kind of stuff, oh, you bald headed or your hair thin, it's like, well, what do you think? What you want me to do about it?
But
why say that to people? What do you want me to do about it? Okay, my hair is thin. Personally, my hair has always been thin. My son's hair is thin. My mother's hair, like we naturally have thin hair. My grandmother's hair was super thin. And so people have always said, oh, you got thin hair. You got, okay, it ain't nothing I can do about that. That is literally my genetics.
And that is it.
It's my DNA.
And then too, and when you put on that weight, if you could lose the weight, you know what I'm saying?
I would,
if you really could lose the weight, you would. But so for people to say, and and just like kind of like pick, well, you didn't put a little weight on.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would you eat? And I'm like you, Leon, it's so very hurtful. It's so very hurtful. And I'm like, I don't even know how, I don't even know how you fix your mouth to say that. But that was something I wanted to talk about probably later on. I was like, that's another show. But it is not. It's fine to talk about it now. Why is it that people think they can do and say, and they do? And you're right. Old people, my old people that listen, some of y'all, let me just say this, old is like 65 and older. And I'm in that category because I'm 67. No, we do not have the right to say any and everything to folk.
And here's the thing, you better hope that when you say it to certain people that they were raised the right kind of way, because this new generation,
come on now,
these Gen Zs, oh, they're not having it. You can't talk to these Gen Zs the old kind of way because they will eat you up from Friday to Sunday.
And then they said, well, and I'm talking about my age group, where they're not respectful. You don't have no business. We don't have any business saying any and everything to them. We're out of order, Emily. A lot of things we just straight up out of order. We shouldn't be saying it to them and then turn around and say, oh, you need to respect me and not say anything back.
Yeah. And I always tell, I've said this to my mother, to several of my elder friends, respect is something that is earned. I don't automatically give you respect because you have numbers behind your name. I give you respect because you've earned my respect. And an elder acts and behaves in that way. You never have to tell, I'm an elder, or you should never have to say, I'm an elder. You should respect me because it should exude. It should pour out of you.
Right.
Like, I know certain people, when I'm around the presence of certain people, it's their energy demands my respect. And that's what I mean about being a true elder. When I'm in your presence, your energy will automatically demand my respect.
And not only that, as a real elder, you're not going to say any and everything to people anyway, because there is a certain amount of wisdom. And by the way, everybody old don't have wisdom.
Exactly. That's it.
And some of these grandmamas ain't grandmamas. I don't know what we are, but we're not that. And I'm a great grandmama. And so, but some of the way that we behave is just inappropriate, but Emily, that's something serious. I'm serious about that talking, that just say anything to anybody, I mean, just don't care.
And while we're on grandparents, I have a thought that hopefully if Sheila's still listening and Steve is still listening, maybe Leon can call in. I want to get you guys' opinion on this. So I was, it came across my news feed on social media. So there's this lady that I follow that owns a dress store. And a young lady and her mother came in and purchased her prom dress.
Okay.
A few weeks later, the grandmother and grandfather brought the young lady back in and told the dress store owner, hey, we need to exchange this dress for something else. We need something that's less revealing. The dress is too tight on her and it's showing too much and we're not comfortable with it. So the dress store owner proceeds to arguing back and forth with the grandparents. The grandparents said, hey, we're the ones that paid for the dress. We're the ones that take care of her. And we're saying that this dress is not appropriate. So the grandmother says, you need to pick something else out in the store. The store owner then says, well, it doesn't matter what she tries on. She's not going to like it because this is the dress that she picked out. So she starts arguing back and forth with the grandparents, telling the grandparents that you have no right. If her mother helped her pick out the dress and, so on and so forth. So, of course, there was thousands and thousands and thousands of comments. So come to find out that the granddaughter actually lives with the grandparents and the grandparents take care of her. Whatever the situation is with the mother does not have custody of the daughter of the granddaughter and hasn't had custody for most of her life. So as a courtesy, the grandparents allowed the mother to take the daughter out to pick out a prom dress.
Okay.
And now I said, you know, in my mind, I said, now I clearly I can see why the mother probably doesn't have custody of the daughter, because she picked a dress that was ill-fitting and that was basically showing too much. My question to you guys is, do you think that the store owner had the right to tell the grandparents that they had no right to come in there and try to switch the dress, and that it was none of their business? I mean, she argued with the grandparents all the way down. And do you know, people were defending the store owner, saying that the grandparents should be ashamed of themselves and so on and so forth. And me, as being somebody younger, I said, when did we stop respecting what grandparents had to say? Now, if my granddaddy or grandmother told me that they didn't think the dress that I chose was flattering and that I needed to cover my boobs up, or the dress was too tight, then I'm gonna listen to my grandparents.
Let me just go. Let me pull back, and that's a great conversation. I'm going to say this: the grandparents made absolutely. Now, I'm a grandmother raising a granddaughter. If that occurred to me, you know, I'm the one, I pay the cost to be the boss. And as you say, obviously is a reason why. There's a reason why they don't have custody of that granddaughter, Emily. So that store owner was out of order. But let me tell you what I would have did for her. I would have given her that dress back and asked my money back. And I would have gone to another store. I wouldn't have even stayed there with her, because she's dipping her nose in a place that it doesn't need to be.
Well, she was said that the dress store owner was arguing her point, and her point was that if the mother said that the dress was okay, then you don't have the right to come back in here and make her exchange it. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm a store owner. I own a store, and there's no way I would argue with someone's grandparents if they came back in and said, I don't want my money back. I would just like to find another dress that we can collectively agree on that fits her better. I think this dress is too tight on my granddaughter. I think it's showing too much cleavage. I'm sure we can find something in this store. And the store is a huge dress gown store. I'm sure we can find something in here that will fit her a little bit more appropriately. And there's no way I would tell a grandparent to get out my store and you don't have the right, and da-da-da-da-da, you know, so on and so forth. And then afterwards, the grandmother wrote a letter or typed an email and sent the email to the store owner. And of course, rightfully so, the grandmother, you know, was cussing, you know, she wasn't very nice, but she sent it in an email. How about the store owner turned around and sent the email to the woman's pastor?
Well, see, she was messy as you know what.
Yeah. And I said, you know, that we as Black women store owners, we bury ourselves so much, but this is the climate that we live in. And I said, ain't no way in the heck I would go that far. Like, at the end of the day, I would have never posted it. She was recording the grandparents, and the grandparents didn't know they're being recorded. So that's wrong. I mean, it's her store. So legally, so for those of you that don't know, if you come in my store, I can legally record you, because once you come onto my property, I can record you without your consent. Okay. So she had every right to do it, but to record somebody acting a fool and they don't know they're being recorded, and then to upload that onto social media, that's where it gets sticky, and that's where you're opening yourself up to get sued, because it's one thing to record me in your private business for your private use. It's another thing to record me. I don't know I'm being recording, and then you upload it to social media. And then it's one thing for me to send a private email to you as a business owner, and you take my email and send it to my pastor.
And see, the thing that really irks me about this is mama, and really and truly, you know, grandmama and granddad, you know, really did something to try to help daughter, to connect with her daughter. I mean, she really did. And for her to act the way that she acted, I'm like, first of all, that's why you ain't got your child nowhere. That's number one. But number uno, you know, I mean, we're strict on Denver. It's certain things we don't let her wear, and I mean, that's just how it is. And the other thing is, you said something really critical right here, Emily. You said grandmother and grandfather. It is a difference, and people may not like what I'm going to say. It is a difference when a man is in a girl's life. They are much stricter than just it is sometimes when it's just, a woman raising a child. And I bet you it was granddaddy who said that dress was too tight and that she was showing too much.
I don't, they were both in there, and the grandmother was the one that was the most vocal. The grandfather, he would interject kind of here and there, but it was the grandmother that was pretty much the most vocal. But at the end of the day, I feel like if these are her guardians and the guardians come back in and say, hey, you sold my granddaughter this dress. I don't feel like the dress is inappropriate. Can we please exchange it for something else? You, as the store owner, I don't have that right to say, you don't have the right to make that call. It's not your decision, and you need to get out of this girl's business. I'm like, excuse me, she lives with me. I take care of her.
Exactly.
I have legal custody of her. She is literally my business. And so I don't know. I followed this woman for years on social media, and just that one instance has put such a bad taste in my mouth about her. And I'm like, sometimes you just wrong, and you have to have people that will call you out when you're wrong. When you're wrong about something, you're wrong. And sometimes issue a public apology and move on. We're the most forgiving, of races. We'll forgive you, but you gotta apologize, move on. But she does not think she's wrong. And I said, even if you put the whole store situation to the side, if I send you a private email, Brenda, and I say some choice words in the email, do you think it's okay? I mean, would you send that email to my pastor?
No.
And to my city commissioners, to my boss at my job? I'm like, who? What? This has gone entirely too far. Like, this is out of control.
Out of control. But anytime, to me, Emily, and this is any time, in any instance that we have any situation, any experience, and that particular person sets out to destroy you. And I'm talking about destroy. Now, in this case, there is nothing more, and I'm willing to bet you that was more serious in her spiritual life, because that was important to her. So what did she do? She's going to go in and go tell daddy that, pastors and daddy, so that she can get a spanking. Because that is just really horrible. I can't imagine them trying to destroy that lady, trying to destroy her spiritual life like that.
And I think Sheila says, hopefully the grandparents have explained to the granddaughter why the dress is inappropriate.
I'm sure they did.
They did. And of course, the granddaughter, being a typical teenager, thinks that the dress is okay, which we all, we all have kids. We've all had teenagers. We know how that goes. But as parents and as grandparents, it is our responsibility to constantly remind them, like, hey, this is not okay. This is not appropriate. And we know that we're going to deal with the mouth and the backlash. And
that's right.
I don't think anything is wrong with this. And, I hate you, mom, or I hate you, grandma, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But we know at the end, this is what you're going to wear because what you chose was inappropriate. And
because we talked about it last week about these dresses, and they out of control. I mean, out of, Sheila, just literally just showing everything. This little stuff cut out. I don't blame grandma and saying, okay, this is inappropriate.
Yeah. And
I don't blame her.
I thought about it, from every angle, from every aspect, and from a business owner standpoint. I said, no, business owner, you're wrong. You're wrong on this one. Like, if a customer comes back in, obviously they can't exchange in my store because it's bath and body products. But if I owned a shoe store or a dress store, if the dress has never been worn, and I know the dress hasn't been worn and it hasn't had alterations, I'm going to let you exchange that dress. Now, the woman has, return policies and so on and so forth. So it wasn't as if the grandparents were asking for their money back. They just simply wanted to exchange and get a different dress. So I said, and to me, in my mind, I didn't lose any money. All you're doing is exchanging one dress for another dress. Pretty simple.
And then the other piece of that is the store owner was getting into a family dynamic that she really didn't
know about.
Right, that she didn't know about and she didn't need to get into, because you don't know what went down. Something occurred because the granddaughter living with grandma and granddaddy.
Right.
And it's obvious to me that mama couldn't buy her dress. You know, because if she'd have had what mama bought her, she wouldn't have had nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because if mama couldn't afford the dress. So, but now I think the thing in all of this, Emily, that has gotten me the most is that she took that email and gave it to her pastor.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, now that's just like really low.
Because like if I'm upset with you, you know, let's hash it out. Me and Brenda can hash it out through email or whatever. But the minute you start taking my emails and sending it to my boss or sending it to my pastor or sending it to other high-ranking officials or whatever, then you're doing this out of malicious intent. It's okay for us to disagree. It's okay for us to not be on the same page about something and walk away. It's like, let's agree to disagree and move on with our lives. But now you're trying to be malicious. And clearly these are elders. These are older people.
Right.
What was your objective is what essentially I posted on the post. I commented, I said, I'm trying to understand the end objective. Like, what was it that you were trying to accomplish by sending the email to her pastor? Did you want the pastor to know that this is how this woman behaves? I mean, he's a pastor. Surely he knows that people are humans. Humans fall short of the glory all the time, every day.
Absolutely.
So you sending, you know, something that I've said to you out of anger to my pastor. So you're intentionally now trying to make me look bad when all I wanted to do was get my granddaughter an appropriate dress.
And that is, and then.
So how do we go from, I just want to get my granddaughter an appropriate dress to now you sending an email to my pastor?
And the other question I'm just asking, because I haven't seen the clip, so really send it to me so I can look at it, and maybe even post it all of a sudden so that, you know, the other masses, you know, people out there, our listeners, can look at it, is that when she initially went in the store and said, this dress is inappropriate, we need to swap it, was the granddaughter there, and did the store owner cut a fool in front of the granddaughter as well? She was really out of order then, Emily. That you know, that to me is teaching that granddaughter disrespect.
Yeah. And that was what I was saying. I said, now the granddaughter was there and the granddaughter was like, I think the grandmother held up her dress or something. And the granddaughter said, you know, I hate that dress. Or I don't like the dress or something to that effect. But it's an entire store full of dresses. Surely you can find something in here because it's a huge store full of nothing but formal gowns. You can find something else in this store that you like. And I think what the grandparents were expecting to come into the store and have the store owner say, okay, yeah, let's find you something else. Mom, dad, or grandma, grandpa, if you think this is inappropriate, let's see. So the issue is the girl was overweight. Excuse me, the girl is overweight. And so the dress was not, according to the grandparents, wasn't figure flattering. It was too tight. Well, this particular lady specializes in big girls and trying to make them feel beautiful and feel confident. So her argument was this girl felt beautiful and confident in the dress, and you all are making her feel less beautiful and less confident. And I said, here we go again. I don't understand why there's this new culture that if you're full figured, that it's, you know, you can wear tight clothes, and tight clothes translates to I'm empowered. I'm a woman and I'm showing everything about me and I'm showing my whole body and I can wear the tight clothes just like the skinny girls can. And I, you know, essentially you can wear, I mean, you can wear what you want to wear, but what happened to putting on clothes that make you look your best? This too tight outfit doesn't make you look your best. I'm not saying put on a muumuu or a frumpy dress, but this particular dress does not complement your figure. So let's find something that does. So this woman was her argument was that, you know, you guys want to put her in something that covers her up. I want to put her in something that, you know, shows her off and shows her beautiful body because she's beautiful. And what you're doing is making her not feel beautiful. And I said, you getting way too deep into a family's dynamic. That's personal. That ain't got nothing to do with you selling people that dress, and get on with your life.
And you know, and that's a conversation within itself when you talk about, you know, everybody type. Okay. Even if you small, everybody can't wear everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, Emily? You just can't. You know, if you're a hippie, you got to wear, to me, you should wear a certain type of clothes. If you got like if you busty or whatever, you know, maybe you should wear strapless, you know. I mean, you know, because it's not enough support to really make a woman stand up and look nice, you know. So I do think that there is, gosh, you know, I'm like, I've got all these ideas just rolling in my head. I'm like, bless her heart. And grandmama and granddad are doing the best they can to try to raise her in a way that she can feel proud. And look, and get this, Emily, and be able to look back on those pictures,
right,
and say, I was really beautiful, you know, rather than having to look and see all those curves. Because I know I done looked at the pictures that I've taken when I was a big girl, and I looked at those, you know, some of the things, and I know I had to wear 2 compression garments. I said it on the radio. I had to wear 2. You know, it's some of y'all out there that had to wear 2 too. You know, to try to give myself a curve because I had so much fat. I mean, you know, it is what, not that I was ashamed of it, but I wanted to look my very best.
Look your best, yeah. And these women nowadays do not, you know, my church OGs. I know y'all know about the slips. But needless to say, I've noticed that women now don't too much wear undergarments. They don't wear girdles. Like I was raised to wear a girdle, and I'll never forget. And I still think my mom was wrong about this to this day. I went to church, and my mother was extremely strict about us wearing the proper undergarments because that was the way we were raised. And I had forgot to put on my girdle. Now, of course, you know, when I was younger, I was, you know, much, much, much thinner. And I didn't have a shake in the world, right? I didn't have no extra, you know, body fat or nothing. But my mom was adamant about us wearing girdles, wearing, you know, up under our dresses. And I'll never forget, we got out of the car at church, and my mom said, "You didn't put on your girdle." I said, "Oh, I forgot, Mom." And do you know, as punishment, my mom made me walk all the way down the middle aisle of the church, all the way to the front, almost like a walk of shame. And go down, and we had to confess because it was a sin, right? Asked, you know, the Lord to forgive me and the church to pray for me. And to this day, I'm 43 now, and do you know, I still remember that. And I said, you know, Ma, sometimes you can discipline a person, but sometimes stuff is just wrong. I said, do you realize the scar that left on me mentally? I said, so you knew that I didn't have the proper undergarment, but you paraded me down. And I had a big church, what back then would be considered a mega church, but now it's, you know, a normal sized church. But church members, I mean, their church held about 800. Okay. So imagine walking down the middle aisle and everybody is gawking at you. And you thinking everybody's looking at your booty jiggling, you know, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And yeah, and my mom, in her mind, she thought that was the appropriate thing to do, you know, as a form of discipline. Now, of course, you know, my grandparents ate her up and told her, you know, you should have done that. You know, Sandra, you shouldn't have done that. And in her mind, she was like, I bet you she won't do it no more. Now, ironically, I never did.
I bet you did.
I never left that house without that undergarment again. But the scar that it left behind is I'm always to this day self-conscious about people looking at me.
By the way, and let me just say that girl, whether she understands it or not, her parents, her grandparents saved her. From, you know, because you don't know how those people are going to react to her being in that ill-fitting garment. And when you're a big girl, to me, you have to be careful about what you put on anyway, because it's hard to find stuff to fit nicely when you're a big girl. So they were right to do that. They really were.
Well, guys, it has been wonderful. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Sheila, for joining us.
We appreciate you.
You guys know that you can always share this, like, comment, share on our Facebook page, on our YouTube page. Want to thank Big Hen, Mr. Henry E. Williams, for sponsoring the show. Johnny, we did miss you today. Johnny is on tour with the stage play. We'll be back here next week, same time. You guys, we love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace. I think we're still on the air because we still got this thing right here going on. So,
no, I think it's about to shut off here in just a second. For those of guys that are still listening, make sure you tune in next Monday again, same time at 5:30. All right, we love you. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to All of a Sudden. Join them every Monday evening from 5:30 to 6:30. All of a Sudden with your host, Brenda Sutton. That's every Monday. We'll see you there.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.